I'm back, keeping my word. Um, Sorry about that. Tushar, Tyrone, and Edunet. It's just us three in here. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. My computer froze. So, hi Tushar, Tyrone, friend of Chad. I don't think there's anybody out there. Okay. Edunet, really appreciate your work. Do you think there is a way to convince more people, especially ladies, to understand human evolutionary biology and therefore potentially have more empathy? Well, I mean, you could make like a really engaging, fascinating, entertaining TikTok on evolutionary biology and then just educate the masses that way. So why do you think like evolutionary biology helps people have more empathy? Um, yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Um, I am back. Thanks for coming back. Sorry for my computer troubles. Um, okay. I feel half naked asks, are you okay with a one-sided open relationship or two-sided is true equality for men and women? Or is two-sided probably true equality for men and women? I understand monogamy is a lie. There are so many people cheating. Why not just make it open? I kind of agree with you. Um, so like personally, I would not be okay with a one-sided open relationship, meaning like the guy can have people on the side, but I can't. Like, I just cannot do that. But I know that a lot of women can. In fact, it's probably a kink for a lot of women because it's like, man, this guy is like so powerful and such like a, you know, dom that he's kind of like got me in chastity basically and while he's sleeping. So, or maybe they just don't have like the same sexual drive and they just don't like have time for partners on the side, and it's just not really something they're interested in, like, they're more interested in just that deep sexual connection with him, and that's enough for them. So, yeah, like, I'm okay with one-sided open relationships. Two-sided, I agree, true equality, and why not just make it open? I mean, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I definitely understand the appeal of monogamy at the same time. I think it's, like, a very, very powerful idea. So there's a lot you're giving up when you give up monogamy as well. This kind of fantasy and like fairy tale of just like all the trappings of monogamy of like you're the most special person in the whole world and they choose you and they don't even have eyes for anyone else. Like it's harder for people to let go of that because in a way then you're just not special. And so it's kind of like a death of the ego there. But at the same time, it's like once you try it, maybe it's not as bad as you thought, and it's actually better for you as well. So, yeah, like I agree though, it just seems like making it open could solve so many problems of monogamy, but like people just won't even consider it. Yeah. I also feel like the more secure the girl feels, at least, like the more she might be open to making it open. So it's kind of like a paradox there. So, yeah. So, Sam L. Williams. If a woman acts totally attracted to you when she's drunk, but not when she's sober, and you have known each other for several years, was she being her true self when she was drunk or sober? Okay. Um, well, like I feel like she's being her true self both ways, but clearly it seems like when she's drunk, she's kind of like letting down her inhibitions and she's kind of giving herself permission to feel her attraction to you. I mean, I think you could safely say that if she acts totally attracted to you when she's drunk, some part of her is totally attracted to you. So that is her true self, but what does that mean? Like, does she want to date you? Does she want to have sex with you? Or does she just want to flirt with you? Like, it could be a whole range, but I feel like you can definitely feel good about the fact that she is attracted to you, whether she wants to admit it to herself when she's sober or not. Um, so Jeanette says, I think it would have to be a deeper understanding of one's own psychology. Also, whether evolutionary biology, whether evolution is the cause or not, does appear to be a pattern. Yes, I agree. Evolutionary biology is very interesting to me. It's very triggering, but very interesting. Um, so KO asks, what do you think women like more from a biological standpoint? The strong silent type or the bad boy with swagger? If you think about evolution from apes to tribes, well, I feel like they both probably, give you different evolutionary advantages. So, you know, each one's gonna kind of fill their niche in the evolutionary struggle. So, like, in a fight, who would win? I don't know. Like, I feel like in different situations, both could win because it's kind of like the Hunger Games. Like, the strong silent type probably has perhaps intellectual, strategical advantages that the bad boy with swagger, it's not really like his specialty. So they're both good, and there's a lot more other types that are good as well, in my opinion. So, so okay, this is a question. What do you think of from Tushar? What do you think of dating advice for minorities like Indians, Asians? I'm Indian, but I have insecurity of being stereotyped in dating. So, okay, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but will you tell me like what are the stereotypes for Indians in dating? Like what stereotypes do you get the most? Um, yeah. So Fantasy Claus says, "Hey," and I say, "Hey" back. So Nexus says, "Open relationship is acceptable, but open marriage is another thing. Put a ring on it first." So I'm not. So what's the difference there? Like, um, why does it matter if you have a ring on it first? Omar Ali, would you recommend 18-year-old girls to be stripper dancer? Well, it really depends on the girl, in my opinion. Um, I became a stripper a lot older than 18, and sometimes I wish I had started when I was 18. I feel like I don't really know how I would have handled it when I was that young because when I did do it, I felt like I really had kind of like weaponized what's the word? Like I had mindsets that really helped me because you get like so much like toxic attitudes from men and you have to combat them basically mentally and you have to be okay with yourself despite that. And if you can't basically take the heat and you don't know how to basically come back and defend yourself or simply accept and not get triggered, um yeah, like you're just gonna get crushed. And so I don't know how many 18-year-old girls like are really like cut out for it, but some of them definitely are. And it is huge learning experience. Um yeah, and it also depends like do you want to do it or not? Do you have the desire to do it or are you just doing it for the money? Because the people who want to do it are more well equipped mentally to do it. So I feel half naked says, I think raising a child in monogamy can be more ideal, but I will be more curious how people raise kids in an open setting. That's definitely a fair point. Makes sense. Good theory. So, Um, so, what is your opinion about her being 27 and I'm 46? We have the same temperament and humor. Um, my boyfriend's like a lot older than me, and I think it works great. I don't think there's a problem with it. It's definitely not like 27. I mean, she's like a full-fledged, highly mature adult at that point. And yeah, like you're compatible and you have the same temperament and humor. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And in fact, there's a lot of advantages to it for her because a guy at 46 often understands women a lot better than he did at 27. And that's very good for the girl. So, Fantasy Cloud, you should make a video on looks and black pill. It's becoming more and more popular, and it seems to have a lot of truth in it. Yeah, I actually agree. Like, this one guy sent me this video and it was like 50 black pill truths in like 50 seconds or something. And like, I actually liked a lot of it. Like, I thought a lot of it was like, yeah, that's a really good point. Like, they really just set it down so simply. But I did not agree with all of it. And I could see how it's like kind of seems to be this like perfectly cohesive philosophy, like they got it all figured out. And I kind of wanted to do like a takedown on that, but then I just didn't have the video making skills to do it. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so draining because I mean, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, like I think that'd be a great video. And I was kind of impressed with some of their points. And I do sympathize because I agree, there's a lot of truth in it. So EduNet says, where there are more resources and social safety nets with relatively homogeneous cultures with strong honor/code of ethics system, sexuality seems to be more liberal. Iceland is an example. That is interesting. I really love Iceland. I want to go back so bad. It was so incredible. So, Lafo Line says, why nowadays couples are cheating in relationships? What? I'm pretty sure it's not just nowadays. Like, this has been going on for probably, whatever, thousands of years. So, yep. Okay. James Lunsford says, Sup, Victoria, love your content, breaking things down to the raw evolution level. Okay. Thanks, James. Um, Nexus. Okay, that's an interesting point, Reynold, that it's just purely sexual. I think that's about the girl who's only attracted to him when she's drunk. Okay, like it might be purely sexual, but it might be more than that. It might actually be emotional, and then like, when she kind of feels like drinking gives her permission to act sexually on that emotional connection. Because she might think that, oh, well, he's not maybe like my dream guy, but there's just something about him. I don't know what it is. He's not my type, but there's just something about him. Like maybe it's just something emotional that like draws her in. And then when she's drunk, she's like, oh, fuck it. I could like sleep with that guy. Um, so yeah, I feel like it could be both, but that's definitely a good theory. So Nexus says, what do you think of soul ties as far as open relationship goes? Okay, what is that? What is a soul tie? Banter ABC. It's really cool because I recognize some of you guys from my comments, and thank you for being here. Like Banter ABC, I recognize you. Like, thank you. Like again. Um, Link1111 says these are all head games, very dangerous. I don't really see them as games. Like, which ones do you see as games? So are you interested to go on playing with Fire Channel? Like, I don't know who he is, so let me know who he is. Um, SJK December 18. What is the right way to mode 1? Thank you very much for all your videos. Just go to the source, man. Just please go ask, the master of mode 1 himself. Um, I really can't comment on mode 1 anymore because every time I comment, I guess I get it wrong. Like, I guess I was endorsing mode 2. I definitely was never endorsing mode 3 or 4, but I was, like, open to mode 2, and that was, like, a huge crime against mode 1, so please just go to the source. I still really think his books are awesome. I like it. I'm open to whether it's, like, ultimately, in all respects, like, the best way. So, yeah, like, I still think it's great, but please ask the guru. Okay. Anders Streifelt. Welcome back. It's a pleasure listening to you. Thank you, Anders. I really appreciate that because, like, I always feel like I'm probably boring people to death. So, Fantasy Cloud. Why do women like dogs way more than Okay, well, just you can't compare yourself to dogs. Like, it's just, you know, no competition. Like, I heard that in Hollywood, there's like a saying that whenever there's a dog in a shot, like no actor wants to be in the shot or the scene because the dog just automatically steals the show and like no one cares about the actor and looks at the actor. And the same thing with babies. So yeah, don't compare yourself to dogs. Um FL Church says we're not really living unless we're living for someone else, i.e., our progeny children. Otherwise, we are just endlessly chasing momentary pleasures until too old to have a traditional family. Okay, that's fair. That's very wise. Okay, Duffy Swayatawa says, love your content. Do you have thoughts on managing burnout from decision making and maintaining frame in a relationship? Um, yeah, I heard that can be a thing. Cause like, I mean, so did you guys just agree that like you will always do all the decision making? Or did you kind of maintain this like false frame that was kind of hard for you to maintain when you got into the relationship and now she expects it? Because that actually happened to my friend where he was like reading all these books and he started like getting results, but then he got into a relationship with this girl and like he had to maintain it. And I just knew it. And I knew him like so well. And I knew that's not who he is, and I'm like, he's never gonna be able to sustain it, but, and, like, I really loved who he is, and I felt like he was masculine without maintaining a masculine frame, you know? But, like, he just felt, "Oh, no, she really responds to the frame," and I don't know what happened to him because we ended up not talking because we used to date, and then he got into a relationship with this girl. So I really, like, wonder about it sometimes. I'm like, "Oh my god, like, did the true him come out?" So tell me more about that, Duffy. Like, yeah. So, okay. I have to scroll back up. Um, okay. Why the obsession over relationships and not the long term? Our place in the natural order of things. Okay, more from FL Treasure. Interesting. Hello, John Paradise. Recognize you. And hello, Red Dwarf. I recognize you. Question. First date yesterday seemed to go well, but when I went to kiss her, I got a reluctant cheek. That's really bad, right? It could be bad, and it could be just fine. It really depends. It looks like prognosis is probably not good. However, there are examples where maybe she doesn't kiss on the first date. Um, maybe you did something that annoyed her and she's still open. So it's not over till it's over. Follow up and get confirmation that she doesn't like you before assuming that she doesn't like you. You know, that's really what you have to do, in my opinion. Um, Yeah. Disney dream. No fap is the secret to life. Is it now? Okay. That's um yeah. JJM, you ever notice how sometimes in relationships you end up loving the person so much that sexual desire drops? Almost like you respect them too much to do terrible sexual things to them. I've heard that before. I've heard that some people feel that way. Personally, I don't feel like I've ever experienced that. But can you say more like why loving them makes you feel like you can't do, dirty stuff? Because I don't think they're incompatible. So what do you think is like at the heart of that for you? Okay, then Matasuki. Hello, Matasuki. I of course know you. Finally, she's alive. Yes, and you were the one who I think encouraged me to do this, and I just didn't. So thank you for that. So, Richard, is it going too far to expect a future girlfriend to get a STD test and share the results with me? I would do the same. Or do people just take their word that they are clean? Um, it might be hard because like no one in a history of dating ever asked me to do that, but I don't think that it's like totally out of the norm, and I think it's reasonable request. So, oh, and is this future girlfriend? Oh, definitely not. Like if you're gonna be in a long-term fluid bonded relationship with her, like absolutely. I was just thinking like kind of on a date or something, like a hookup, which you would obviously be using protection. Um, yeah, but like I think in a relationship, not at all. And I feel like she'd probably appreciate that as well. D freshman, are you a feminist? Yes, I am. Do I agree with everything every feminist says on the internet? No. Sir JG, does a cheating girlfriend deserve a second chance? I don't know. Like, I've never really dealt with cheating. So, I mean, I feel like it would depend on circumstances. Like, what was the cheating? Why did it happen? Um, I feel like you could work through it, but then if she's just some kind of like pathological liar, totally dishonest, I don't know. I feel like you'd really have to like interrogate her to truly understand where she was coming from and why. Um, Joshua, why am I so scared of girls? Um, I mean, you're not alone. I know that. Like, it's extremely common. But I mean, that is like a really good question. Like, what is at the heart of it? What do you think is at the heart of it? Like, what is the most scary to you about it? I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that, like, if you can't, you know, get girls to like you, like, it's huge consequences. Like, it's kind of like life ruinous. So, I mean, the stakes are huge and the pressure is huge. And yeah, so I don't know. I think it makes sense. People would be scared. Um, so what is the age difference between you and your boyfriend? It's 10 years. So Sam, okay. Sam L. Williams. Yeah, she was open with me sexually when she was talking to me, touched me flirtatiously, and gave me compliments. But then I asked her out, she rejected me. But she is also in a relationship, so yeah. Well, obviously, if she's in a relationship, that is the reason she rejected you. Like, that's kind of a obvious one. Nothing against you. She is in a relationship. So I feel half naked. Do you consider yourself a liberal open or traditional open female? I feel like a liberal conservative female can purposely hold back on sex for transactional exchanges. Thoughts? I don't really know. Like, I'm definitely not traditional. Um, and so what is a liberal conservative female? Can I hold back on sex for transactional exchanges? Um, like what kind of like transactional stuff? All right, say more there. If she cheats, she belongs to the streets. Okay. At what age do you think men peak? I think they're good at any age of legal age, starting at legal age. But yeah, like even before, just in a obviously non-sexual way. Like I don't really feel like they peak, but I feel like if I had to choose a point when they peak, it would be when they begin to understand women and understand the female gaze and stop just like just going on about how like women don't make sense and women are crazy and women are emotional and men are rational and all this stuff. Like when they finally start to understand women, that is when they peak. That is when they can give women something that they truly crave. And it's not just like bashing your heads together. And I feel like that does happen older because, wisdom comes with age and all that. So I don't know. I'm going to say like 40. But I mean, there's a lot of good things at every age. Like there's a lot of young guys who have like very great qualities as well. But okay. Um. Okay. See, I happy force. Thanks for being thought provoking, Caramel Dreams. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Caramel Dreams is really nice of you. Um. Yeah. I am touched. Okay. Um. So, are you keeping it real? I'd say I'm keeping it quite real. I don't know. What do you think? Smart water. White women dating Asian men are increasing, especially Korean men. Actually, I was noticing the same thing. Like, I feel like just skyrocketing. Like, I'm seeing this on TikTok a lot. Um, yeah. So Alex Goldman says, "Hey Victoria, love your content. Watch your vids with my GF, and we've implemented a lot of the psychology with great results." Okay, that is amazing. I love hearing that. And I'd love to hear more like what you guys implemented and what kind of psychology. Doug Talkington, you are right, Victoria. Okay. What did you think I was right about? Thank you for saying that. Um, Octave Akiwu. How to flirt with women without being creepy. That is like an amazing question. Like, I don't even know how to address it because it's such a huge question right now. But let me just like maybe I can come back to answer it later. Okay, or maybe I can just how to flirt with women without being creepy. Well, I feel like there's many different aspects to this, but in general, if you are casual, like you're talking to a friend, you're not gonna be creepy. Like there's no way to be creepy like that. Um, oh, maybe I don't know. Like maybe I shouldn't just be so general there. Yeah, there's so many aspects of this. Like I should just try to make a video of this because there's like a lot of different points to cover. There's like body language and what you say and like when you approach and yeah. I mean, it's a very very good question. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to try to make a video on that. So, Nicholas Blackiston, people get bored of their partners because they're plastic imitations of humans instead of real ones. Everyone's putting on an act. Um, okay. I can see that. Um, yeah. Reynolds said exactly, Victoria. Thank you, Reynolds. Um, run them likes up. Thank you, Rashad. KO, can you talk about the raw attractive power and where that comes from? Also one of my favorite. So where does the raw attractive power come from? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you guys are born with it, like I said in the video. Like, maybe it's some like essence of being mask or whatever. Um, but even you're not mask, in other words, like outwardly masculine, like it can come through as well. But I feel like it does come through most in those like mask type behaviors. Um, where it comes from. Okay, I'm gonna think about that. Octave Ekiwu. How long should the talking stage last? Well, I mean, it really depends. Like, if this is texting, or I mean, these are all really good questions. But all right, maybe I'm tiring a little. And that's why I'm not really. But let's just do a few more. Okay. Adam Hudson. If you invite a girl you just met to your house, but she says she wants to meet out first, and you comply, does that make you look weak as the man since you comply with the request? Okay, absolutely not. Like, you guys have to understand something about girls, which is you can't invite a girl you just okay, well, it depends. Like, if you develop some rapport with her because you met her at like a bar or something, that might be different. Then she kind of has seen you in a public place in person. But if you met her on a dating app and you invite her to your house and she says she doesn't want to meet up, she wants to meet out first. That's completely normal. Like 99.999% of all girls will say the same thing. It is completely unsafe for a girl to meet up with someone she's never met at, behind closed doors. That's very, very dangerous, and all girls know this. So, does it make you look weak? Absolutely not. It makes you look, I mean, the fact that you even asked does look bad because it shows that you kind of don't understand women's kind of like just basic female like safety behaviors. So that could make you look bad, but if you comply with her request, that's going to kind of salvage what you already kind of damaged with the initial request. Like, that's going to make you look better. It does not make you look weak at all. So, yes, that is completely normal. So, yeah. So Spudsky says, "Hi, I'm 53. I'm trying to turn my life around. I work two jobs and go to graduate school in effort to improve my life as I am not where I want to be financially. Are women turned off?" No. Okay. Well, certain women who know that, wait, you work two jobs, but you're not where you want to be financially. Okay, no, they're definitely not turned off. And I was just watching a video today and I totally agreed with it. That, it was just talking about how, like, women are attracted to guys who, like, broke guys, and it doesn't sound like you are at all. You're just saying you're not where you want to be financially. But, I've always thought this, like, the amount of money you have, it can be attractive to a girl who is looking for a relationship, and they want to get a guy with a who can provide them a luxury lifestyle, but is not, and it can be attractive sexually in that way as well, but it's not the only way to be attractive sexually. And a broke guy with no money living in his parents' basement or whatever could be extremely sexually attractive and is like a very well-known sexually attractive type. And I'm sure this is like kind of common knowledge, but no, women are not automatically turned off if you're not where you want to be financially. And if they are, I mean, that's kind of like for certain a woman who is looking for a very rich guy. And then you're going to have to basically provide her the rest of your life with like a certain standard of living. Sounds exhausting. So, do you really want that kind of woman in the first place? If I was a guy, I would not. But yeah, there are certain women who are basically only into rich guys. But enough said there. Um, Luis Espinoza, I love and respect your videos. Thank you. Wow, thank you very much for saying that. Okay. All right. Oh God. Um. Okay. I'm trying to go back to where I was here. Um. Okay. Victoria, soul ties, once you enter into a woman, there's just a bond that takes place. Whatever is within the person becomes a part of you. Unless you can screw with no emotions. I don't really agree with that from personal experience. Do you feel that way? Because like, I don't. Um, JBT says true Western men are so feminine, non-Asian men are culturally more masculine, hence why white women seem to love them nowadays. I feel like that's kind of the opposite of like the stereotype, like, but okay. Um, I'm open to that. Um, EduNet says, you're the first woman I have seen on YouTube speaking so candidly about the truth of male female relationships, some faith and humanity restore. Thank you. That is very nice of you to say that. Nicholas Blackiston says, they like dogs because dogs don't talk. You know, dogs actually do talk. With AAC communication boards, I watched like 100 of them on Instagram. Check out What About Bunny and Hunger for Words. It's absolutely amazing. HS says, you look very beautiful. Thank you, HS. I appreciate that. I do. Twofer says, I have no idea why I'm attracted to you. Okay, well, that's kind of no comment on that one. I feel half naked. Maintaining frame can look obsessive and controlling. Just have open relationships and work on yourself. First, don't worry about having an ideal partner. Okay. Peter Spatafora. Hello, Peter. You are so awesome in the realness on how you tell it from the female point of view. Thank you. Fantasy Climb. I meant to say, why do women love dogs way more than men love dogs? That is an interesting question. Um, yeah. I have some thoughts about that actually. That is interesting. Um, yeah. Do men have a inner child and women have an inner seductress? Um, I'd say yes. Um, okay. Let me see. Bill Reed, does size matter? Um, it will matter to certain women, obviously. I do think, and they're gonna, a lot of women are kind of going to talk it up that size matters because it makes them look more, I guess, high value in their minds because it's like then they can get like a guy who's kind of like fitting the societal conventional standard. Certain girls is going to be important too. Certain girls, a smaller size is actually going to be quite important for because they get like sore after sex and it doesn't even like fit inside. So yeah, and also supposedly I've heard that the inside of the canal it's kind of numb in a lot of women. And so it kind of like probably won't matter to them. But yeah, like I wouldn't worry about it because also they're not going to see it until like you're in bed with them and they're like touching it. And by that point, they're probably not going to be like, I'm out and just like jet out. But there's those size queens out there. Okay. Mhm. Okay. The other side. Why don't mothers tell their sons about the games women play, like how women expect men to read their minds in a relationship? Um, like how well, I think women don't expect men to read their minds, but they simply assume that men are thinking like women think and therefore should be able to read their minds because if it were another woman in a relationship with them, that woman would intuitively understand through like the conventions of female culture how to react. And so it causes like a big misunderstanding because they expect men to kind of know the things that women know. When they don't, they feel resentful because it almost feels like the men are doing it on purpose or just to be rude or just to be cruel. Um, and they're not. It's just that, guy culture is very different and guy conventions are quite different than female dating conventions. And when we come together, like, we don't just understand each other perfectly. Um, yeah. So I think like a lot of women just don't know that. Like, I didn't really realize that either. Like, I grew up with all sisters. I didn't understand what guys are like when guys are with each other. I didn't understand, like, this whole male culture thing, like, putting each other down all the time and having to be tough and strong and, like, not talking about your emotions and stuff like that. Like, I didn't really know any of that. So I just expected men were, you know, could just fit seamlessly into female culture, and a lot of them can't. Okay. So, yeah, so basically, I don't think moms really, like, know that. Please do those very subtle attraction. Oh, wait, John Paradise. I was just curious because I like a woman who's 13 years younger than me. Okay. Um, Banter ABC, please do those very subtle attraction TikTok shows. Okay, yeah, like I think that would be so cool too. Um, I'd really like to do that. Nicholas Black is saying, crazy to devote so much energy to some of these vague and meaningless questions, but appreciate you doing the live stream and giving me this opportunity to interact. You guys, this is like really fun for me because like I'm just kind of bored here, so I enjoy just like I don't know. If I enjoy that, like, you're here and you're asking me these questions and entertaining me. So, yeah, I like to talk about this stuff, learn from you guys. This is fun for me. Um, I feel half naked. A lot of red pill contents can go too far and teach men to be obsessive and controlling to the opposite sex. Guys have to really go out and experience instead of just reading behind the screen. I completely agree. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Like, real world experience is just going to put everything in perspective, and I agree. Like, if you're just listening to what people say online, including what I say online, because like I talk a lot about like dominance and stuff, but if you don't have any real world experience with like putting it into practice, I mean, who knows what you could be imagining like dominance is. I mean, I kind of learned from this channel. A lot of people think it's just like whips and chains and dungeons and like punching people in the head and stuff and being like a drill sergeant, and it's not. And I could see why it could be taken out of context and like appear that way just from my description. So yeah, like guys have to really go out and experience. Like I could not agree more. So yeah. Um what can you share with us about unicorns? Okay, that's a cool question. It is kind of interesting how they're like tied to virginity. Is it not? Like only the pure of heart and only like a virgin can attract them. I feel like that's kind of related to this like red pill obsession with virgins. I feel like there could be some cool connection there. Um, um Peter Simon says, how do you avoid being the person a woman holds out on? Because they might see you as a viable long term option. Sounds bad, but I'd rather be the short term guy as opposed to that guy if I had to choose. Yes, like, I understand that. That is a good question. I feel like some pickup people probably have some better advice for that on me because, like, I can just tell you from my perspective as a woman dating in New York City, like, I did experience that. Like, there was this one guy, and I pretty much hated him. Like, I was just so annoyed by everything he was saying and stuff. And because of that, like, I did not see him as a viable long-term option. And I was kind of like lonely and I didn't want to go home alone. And I kind of just said like, fuck it. I'm just going to try like this guy. And I hooked up with him and he became like my FWB. And yeah, he like totally lucked out as the short-term guy. But I don't know how like repeatable that strategy is of just like making a girl hate you. But yeah, like some girls, I mean, some guys just kind of screamed short term guy, but what exactly those guys did, as like large patterns of what they did, like I don't really have to think about. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of boring to be that like long term guy option. Um, SG, holy cow, you love the attention, lol. Okay, have a good night. Oh my god. Wow. Okay. Um, so, will this live be available for replay? Like, please email me and tell me how to do that because I'm not really sure how to do that. Because before I ended the stream and then it all just disappeared. So maybe I'll have to look for if it's saved at all or if I have to do something to save it. Um, Funny McFunfunts. I used to sleep with girls as fast as possible, but at 42, I try to get to know them first, but I feel like they get bored with talking to me, and I feel like they are upset if I don't make a move. Well, you're probably right about that. They probably are upset that you don't make a move. Um, you want to balance getting to know them with a sexual undercurrent, because yeah, like at a certain point, they're going to be upset if you don't make a move because well, it's confusing to them because I think like guys are like these sex crazed freaks. So if you're not making a move on her, like what's wrong with her? Is she not attractive enough? Like, it just confuses them. So you should be making some moves too. Some subtle moves, but don't worry about the moves. Um, Victoria, what ethnicity of guy would you never sleep with? Are you open minded? And this is link 1111. If the conditions are right, would you explore? Or are you trapped within our society issues regarding traps? No, not at all. Like, I would sleep with any ethnicity. I do not have, like, one ethnicity that I would not sleep with. Like, absolutely not. So, big techno. Is it out of the ordinary for a woman to reject physical advances on the first couple of dates? I'm not referring to intercourse, just displays of affection, thanks. I wouldn't really say it's out of the ordinary because there's a lot of reasons they could be rejecting physical advances on the first couple dates. Okay, one, they could just be from like a more conservative culture where that's just like improper etiquette. I feel like most girls are more modern and it's not improper. Also, they could be following like a specific female dating strategy, and a lot of female dating strategy tells women to basically, in order to get the long-term relationship they're looking for, you need to not have sex with the guy because why would he buy the cow when he got the milk for free? So as soon as you sleep with him, he's going to be gone. So you have to basically hold off and show him that you are high value and that you know, aren't that kind of girl. And that will make him in turn, like you more. So it is not out of the ordinary. Like, it is definitely both something girls do and a strategy they will employ. Um, I mean, if she's going on multiple dates with you, like one after the other, like if she's gone on like 3 dates with you, she likes you because if she didn't, she would just, or she likes you, in some way. Otherwise, she would just not go on the dates with you. So if she's still going on dates with you, but still rejecting physical advances, yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It means, she, for whatever reason, is taking it slow. Then some girls, are just not really like comfortable sexually. They're not very sexual people. That's not really ideal, in my opinion, but it could be for a variety of different reasons. Um, AA says, I'm attractive to women, but I'm afraid of getting a bad reputation. Well, I wouldn't really worry about that because even if you get a bad reputation, it's kind of like all publicity is good publicity, and it will kind of be good for you to be seen as a bad boy, whether or not they say it or not. But yeah, that's definitely a good problem to have, in my opinion. Um, what are women's real thoughts? Oh, well, I think I just gave you them. So, I'm sorry I cannot play it too. Um, you still vegan? Yes, I am. I'll be vegan forever. Um, why Horn the Giant? Advice for the first impressions. Well, is this first impressions like on a date? I'm guessing. Um, here's one thing is this is Jen is a really common one, but it's just coming up lately. Ask her questions. That is kind of like an unforgivable sin. If you do not ask good questions about her, that is something like amazingly many guys don't do. And it's huge. Also, I would say pay for her on the date. That creates a very good first impression. If you don't, that can kind of ruin things for some girls, absolutely. And there's probably a lot more. But I'll just go with those two for now. So here, did I already say this, JV? You're looking great tonight. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't even brush it, so thank you. John Paradise, if a woman sitting in the backseat of a car with you is wildly playing with her hair, is that a sign she is attracted to you? Not necessarily, but it could be, okay? Like, if she's just really, like, primping and preening, she could be feeling in a sexual, flirtatious mood. She's, like, feeling herself. So, yes, it could be, but it could also not be. It could also be she's, like, fixing her hair. Okay, so it's not like some master secret to the universe or anything like that. So, big techno, what are your thoughts on push pull? Is it sometimes difficult to determine the proper ratio of attention and space to give? Too much attention seems to push women away, but so does too much space. That's definitely true. Yeah, that is absolutely true. Yeah, like if you just seem like really desperate and needy, definitely a turn off. But if you just seem like totally distant, I mean, at some point she's gonna have to move on. So yeah, I agree. It might be very difficult to determine the proper ratio, yeah. Um, MDF999. Is it true that women chase guys if they truly focus on themselves? If I am being honest with myself, I feel like I will miss the right girl if I do. Okay, that's a very, very interesting question. Like, I really like that. So, is it true that women chase guys if they truly focus on themselves? Like, yes and no. Like, I see what is attractive and what people are saying when they say, "Oh, you gotta be on your purpose and just focus on yourself." Yes, it is attractive. but is it going to be attractive that, like, women are throwing themselves at you? Like, how frequently? I mean, maybe one woman, like, every couple years, okay? But if I'm being honest with myself, I feel like I will miss the right girl. I agree. Like, I think you will. Like, I think you should not be that passive. Like, I think it's very stupid to be that passive. I think you could focus on yourself, like, and at the same time, take the initiative, be aggressive, ask out women. I don't know, can you do both? Because I would do both. And no, I don't agree with this advice. Just like let girls chase. Um, for a lot of guys, you're going to be waiting forever for them to chase. And you're going to be developing the skills of being passive as well, which are not in like high demand. Like a lot of girls just aren't into guys like that. I know I'm not. Like I need a guy who takes the initiative. Like I need a guy who is aggressive. I need a guy who has those like masculine qualities of going after what he wants. And like if he doesn't have that, like I can't do it. Like I just don't it's not that I don't respect him because I do respect him as a person, but I could never feel sexually attracted to him. Well, not really. Like it would kind of it's like a spark that just fizzles, in a cold weather. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, good question. Smart water, yes. Seems like the new generation of Western women are not exposed to old stereotypes of Asian men, rather they're new, more masculine, attractive side. Interesting. Okay. John Paradise, yes, to creator, she is still vegan. Yes. Thanks, John. Um, so Brad Bettis. Hi, Brad. Hey, Victoria. To attract high value girls who are getting tons of attention, do you think you have to be different and be the only guy around them? Totally not needy initially, or should you just do the normal thing and be super assertive and show interest? Um, okay, I would do the normal thing. I mean, most girls do get tons of attention. Like, I've never been like an influencer where I've got like a million subscribers, and so I can't really like speak to that what it's like if, you're getting literally thousands upon thousands of DMs. But yeah, like I know that like when I was a stripper, I got a lot of attention, and I would want them to be the same. Like this whole thing of just totally not needy. I mean, that's important like for everyone. Like you never want to appear needy. Like that's a turnoff, you know what I'm saying? But like do you have to just be kind of like weird and like neg them? No. Like it I don't know, maybe it's going to work on some girls. Um I would really like stick to being normal because it's just about being like I wish I could show you guys like the text my boyfriend sent me. It's about being like a normal guy. It's about like understanding the female gaze and like what they want to hear and what isn't going to like gross them out immediately. Um yeah. So I would show interest for sure. Being super assertive, definitely like be assertive, but just, you know, yeah. I don't know. Like a lot of things guys say about that, like, oh, don't compliment them because they get so many compliments. Like, I don't agree. I have known like a lot of super hot girls, and I never felt like any of them has ever said anything like that. However, maybe it does work. I'm open to that possibility. I just don't think it's the only way, nor is it necessarily like a way I think would be worth risking. But yeah, Regis says, well, what do you think of that, Brad? I don't know. I don't know if I answered that very well, but Regis, best place to meet women, 20s. In my opinion, the best place to meet women is just wherever you are. Like, just practice approaching them. Yes, like wherever you see them. Practice being as normal as possible when you're talking to them. Just strike up casual conversations and ask them out. That is the best place to meet women. Just developing that skill so that wherever you go, you feel comfortable talking to women. Because I assure you, there's a lot of guys who do have that skill and they are the ones asking out women um, wherever they go. So I want you to develop that skill as well. So, yeah. All right, guys. So Joshua, I don't know who Technoblade is. I'll have to Google him. So Hacking the Matrix says, my girlfriend and I are fighting. I really want to keep this one, and I'm not fighting back. But now she has ghosted me. No breakup though. How long till I text her back? Or do I wait for her? Wow. That's intense. So you're fighting and you're not fighting back. Well, that could be bad because, when she's like telling you her side of the fight, um, are you like responding and acknowledging and validating her points? Like, just because you're not fighting back doesn't mean like she's feeling heard or acknowledged or understood. And that's what's going to end the fight. So now she's ghosted you, but you're still together. So I mean, I wouldn't like wait this out. Like, I would like call her up and be like, I love you so much. I want to resolve this. I want to work on this. I am like committed to just like, if it takes like hours, we're going to figure this out. Like, that's the kind of thing she wants to hear. Like, I guarantee you, like, I know I fucked up. I know like I haven't been understanding your side, but like I'm ready to listen now. Like, please give me another chance. Like, that's the kind of thing that's gonna keep her there, you know? So, yeah, I wouldn't like wait it out like it's some game. Like, if you wait long enough, she'll text you back. It's like you're in a relationship. You are gonna have to solve the issues eventually. So, whether or not you apologize first or she apologizes first is not really like the solution, you know? It's acknowledging the grain or the whole mountain of truth in what she is saying and kind of like, as Dr. Burns says, letting your ego die. And I'll read the book Feeling Good Together because it's amazing, and it also saved my relationship too. So, right. SOA, is this live? Yeah, it is. So Ian McDonald says, my mother's 74 and I'm having to tell her men think differently. Like, are you giving her dating advice or say more on that? Um, so Torres says, met up with a woman today at the mall, had a great time. We made out, but after the link up, she blocked me. What could be general reasons why a girl would do that? This is a great question. All right, so one reason comes to mind is that sometimes a girl does something totally out of character. In other words, she just wants to be wild and crazy and just do something that she feels guilty and kind of ashamed about. And then afterwards, she's kind of like, I want to like delete that from my mind, basically. Like, that was just a one-time thing. It was a fluke. Like, that's not me. Like, I can't believe I did that. That's one reason. Also, she could be afraid that because she did something so, like, slutty, basically, and sexual, that you will then kind of, like, pursue her in, like, a dangerous way, and she feels threatened and scared by that. And I know that because, um, like, when I was dating, I'll give you an example, okay? I used to like to do some sexting on Tinder, okay? And when sometimes I would just block them after because I would just be like, "Oh my god, like what did I do? Like what was that?" And I would also be scared, like I said, that maybe they think that I'm just this like totally wild, like nymphomaniac who's just up for it at any time, so they won't understand like boundaries and stuff. And it's just too difficult to deal with, and you just want to like block them and move on. And you've got like thousands of other guys like to move on to. So yeah, like it sucks, but that's like kind of normal. Like I don't think it's anything you did. It could be. There's a slight possibility that like she didn't like something you did, but it could also be totally unrelated to you and just more related to her feelings of like sexual kind of like discomfort with like her own sexuality and having not like fully embraced I like to be a slut, you know what I'm saying? In a good way. Slut in a good way. So, what do you think of that, Taurus? So, Sonu, okay. We ghosted each other for 6 months in a long distance. Now she suddenly wants me back. Okay. Okay. Um. Oh, that's very interesting, SJK. Feel free to ask us questions too. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I should probably be doing that more. Okay. Thank you for that live tip. Um. I have a question for you guys. It's kind of random, but um, what feels most threatening to you about like a woman's tears or like kind of like big emotions? Like, I'm just curious on your thoughts on that. If anyone has any answers on that, because I was talking to someone about this earlier, and I would like to get like your perspectives as well, if it even is relevant to you. Okay, so Tony Cashman says, I finally reached out to an old female friend of mine. I was kind of slow with the timing as I was working on myself, but it felt right to finally speak up the last old friend I had to let go. Hmm. Okay, so you reached out to her. That's cool, right? So, but you had to let go of her? Okay, feel free to say more about that, Tony. So, Ian McDonald, 7 years, never go below 7 years younger. That's a big gap as it is, but still in line with having some sort of compatible experience. Well, I disagree with that. Okay, both my parents were more than that, and me is more than that, and it's great. Um, so this is kind of overwhelming with just like how many questions. So, oh, actually, okay, it's not that bad. All right, okay, this is very manageable. So, John Paradise says, I was inspired by how you said that women want you to get them in the zone. I know it's like some right? Could you like write that in? Um, okay. Nicholas Blackiston says, it's difficult to feel like I have any chance of ever knowing love because I've had so many people tell me directly or indirectly that I'm undesirable. I think a lot of guys are in this category. Yes, like I totally agree. I have heard this from a lot of guys. So it's difficult to feel like you have any chance of ever knowing love because so many people tell me directly or indirectly that I'm undesirable. Yeah, like it's really, really sad. Like it is. Because like I mean, indirectly, like, I see how men are told they're undesirable. Like, one, you know, they're not getting compliments. Two, women are really going hard, bashing them, and also fighting back with, like, intense criticism. against guys like who they feel threatened by, you know, because they're threatened too. And so they just like lash out in like a really damaging way. And then if they think that men are kind of so masculine, they kind of project like hyper masculine onto them. And so they don't even like think it hurts. Like it's sad. It is kind of like they kind of like dehumanize men in a way. Like not really understanding that like men actually do have feelings and stuff. So yeah, and then directly, yeah, I mean that's just really weird. Like I've heard other guys say that too. Like people just tell you to your face like you're ugly, like or something is not desirable about you. I mean, it's just it's it's sad. And I'm sorry, but just know that a lot of that is, people lashing out. It's not even true. Like it's not necessarily true. And if it is, it's just I mean, is it even ever true? I don't know. Because like even if you have like ugly features, it doesn't mean you can be desirable. So I don't know. I'm just very sorry for that. And I know you're not alone. And thank you for sharing that, Nicholas, and thank you for just like being very vulnerable there. Like I appreciate that. So, Joel, like I already kind of talked about Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels a little bit before. I watched like 10 minutes of Andrew Tate, didn't like him at all. Found him very beta, pretending to be alpha, basically. And Kevin Samuels, I never like watched a clip of him. So John Paradise says, and this may sound like a dumb question, but if she frequently touches you, does that mean she's interested? I feel like you're not being aggressive enough. Well, you're probably not being aggressive enough if you're kind of waiting for her to touch you to gauge if you think she's interested enough for you to touch her. Um, and it doesn't necessarily mean she's interested if she touches you a lot. Some girls are just flirty like that. It could, though. She could be trying to make it very obvious that she is into you by touching you to just be like, I mean, that's the dating advice they give to women, like, touch the guy. That's the only way he's gonna know you're interested. So it definitely could be, but there's other reasons as well. So why harm the giant? Are white lies okay in a relationship? Okay, what do you mean by white lies? Like, is it just like, I mean, I feel like you should minimize them as much as humanly possible, but I mean, are you really gonna be like totally cruel to someone who's like in a vulnerable position? Like in that sense, I kind of feel like you could try to tell the truth in like as kind a way as possible, but that's like the only time I feel like white lies are okay. But what are you feeling you need to have a white lie about? I mean, I'd like to say no, they're not, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, there's like a very, very subtle level of lying, like not being fully 100% honest. Is that a lie? All that. Um, so I'll try. So Cover Platypus says, I'll try nonsensical language. What do you think about the claim that women take longer to reach the promised land for evolutionary reasons to take half a dozen donor samples before they do? So, okay, I think you used a little too much nonsensical language because what do you mean the promised land? Does that mean like orgasm? Or does that mean like childbirth? Like, I don't know. So, could you please explain that more? So, Christian Preaching says, what is your advice for divorced men? My confidence level has plummeted since divorce because of losing everything and basically becoming a slave to my ex wife. This has made me become embarrassed. Like, I totally understand. Well, not probably 100%, but, my boyfriend was divorced, and I very much understand how this can happen, and it can be very life destroying, and you can become a slave to your ex-wife, so that I know firsthand. And it has made me become embarrassed. Like, I could see that because it's maybe you're thinking, like, how could I have gotten myself into this situation? Or I've like lost so much. I don't know, maybe something like that. But yeah, I mean, what is your advice for divorced men? Like, it, I don't know, like, it is so intense that you are now like tied to this person you basically maybe don't like or hate for life. I don't know. You are kind of like a slave, so it sucks. Like, I can totally see that. And my advice for them, I don't know. I don't know. I just know that you will find someone, hopefully, like my boyfriend did, who you're far more compatible with and far happier with and have a second chance. And that's, I guess, a hopeful thought, but yeah, like, your life could become, like, way better, but, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any great advice. Like, it just support, okay? It sucks. So, link 111 says, "Victoria, in your opinion, when did white women choose to sleep with whom they want? There was a time when it was frowned on. Was it a thing about if you white men are doing it, why can't we explore?" Huh. Okay. So it's like, when did white women decide, like, they want to have sexual freedom as well? Um, I feel like white women are still very, um, sexually repressed, but I feel like feminist ideas have helped free them up sexually a little bit. So, yeah, I feel like it's just probably with the internet and the exchange of information, like, when I started reading, feminist ideas, like, it I had never heard them before. I was, like, in my 20s, basically, when I started, like, reading Tumblr. I'm like, "Oh, wow, yeah, like, that's what I was feeling this whole time." So, I don't know, maybe, like, with the internet, it became more just, like, these ideas spread. So, um, okay. Tony Cashman, I loved your advice about how valuable the dating experience can be to get earlier on in our lives. What are your thoughts on being expressive or compassionate rather than saying "I love you" to women? Oh, expressive of compassions? Not really sure what you mean by expressive of compassions. Um, I would definitely rather than saying "I love you." So, yeah, I mean, don't say "I love you" to any woman that you don't intend on being in a serious relationship with. So before then, I'm not sure exactly what expressive of compassions means. Um, so feel free to elaborate on that, Tony. Okay. True Blue says, "Why does a girl who has a boyfriend at my job send me extremely hard choosing signals? Don't have a problem talking to women. She just confuses me. We give flirty looks, and the next minute she's silent." Well, she probably enjoys flirting with you. Um, and that's normal. Like, people can flirt even if they're in a relationship, usually. She might be attracted to you, and it's kind of like a safe way for her to kind of explore this because she's in a relationship. But, we give flirty looks, and the next minute she's silent. Well, it seems pretty normal. But, yeah, just because a girl's flirting with you doesn't mean she wants to definitely have sex with you. It's kinda different for guys and girls that way. Um, but she might wanna cheat with you, but I do feel it is more unlikely than likely. Um, John Paradise, what about if you're walking next to each other and she comes so close she's colliding into you? These are all real life examples involving the same woman. Okay, again, that could be your way of flirting. That's definitely like a flirting move girls could use. It could also be she walked too close to you and then collided with you accidentally. So, what you really have to do is make a move, man up, ask her out, and stop looking for a sign that she's into you before you do that. Just go after it. Just see and stop wasting all this time like wondering, you know? So, I mean, it definitely seems like the signs are adding up. So, Chris, my girlfriend gets violent. Okay, that's scary. Yeah. Red dwarf. What clothes, behaviors, actions, etc. make a guy an attractive bad boy? That's a really good question. That's a very good question. Like, I could make a whole video on that. Well, just my opinion, of course, but I mean, I think girls can tell when guys like know how to talk to women, they understand women, they attract women, and girls know that if they like this guy, other girls like this guy, and that he probably has a lot of options, he's high in demand. So that's one thing that makes them kind of on guard because they're like, I know I'm not the only one who feels this way about this guy because so few men understand like women and how to talk to women and what women want to hear on like such a deep level. Um, yeah, and then I mean there's the whole like not giving a fuck and just kind of like not being afraid to go after what he wants, not being afraid of other people's, reactions and opinions, not a people pleaser. Um, like, I mean, he doesn't have to be stylish because he could be a bad boy who like dresses terribly as well, but it can't hurt. Um, kind of like being in touch with his anger can be a thing. Um, being in touch with his like sexuality, kind of like oozing sex. Because he actually gets sex, not like he's desperate for sex. Um, yeah. Also, kind of like with the whole not giving a fuck thing, like doing like wild, semi dangerous, semi law breaking stuff. I mean, I feel like that's another example of like a guy who's not afraid to, um, not people please, not and go after what he wants, like that kind of thing. Those are all attractive qualities. A guy who knows how to make you feel sexy, make you feel desirable, make you feel beautiful. Um, Also in the bedroom, a guy who's not afraid to be more dominant, who's kind of like not afraid to explore all those areas that most guys are way too shy and not shy, I shouldn't say shy, but way too timid basically to go there because they're scared and they don't know if it's going to be okay. But yeah, so those are like some things just randomly. So um Jen Marie, if you want to hang out in a chill vegan community, join us for Happy Healthy Vegan live stream. Oh, so cool. I love Happy Healthy Vegan. I used to watch them all the time. Um let's thank you for telling me about that. And Jen, are you a girl? Because that's really cool. Because you're probably like the only one here. And I really love when girls watch my channel. Okay. Rich Cliff, how can a shy guy overcome the fear of rejection from women that he's interested in? Well, there's the old standard way of getting over a fear of rejection, which is just desensitizing to yourself to rejection by doing it over and over and over and exposing yourself to your fear of rejection until you no longer care. Um, yeah, that's kind of like the classic, but fear of rejection from women that he's interested in. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can kind of like do baby steps with that too, like start small, like just start kind of giving compliments to women you're not really that attracted to, like maybe like grandmothers or something, and then kind of work up from there to women that you are really attracted to and just keep doing it. Like as I told you, or as I mentioned, I ran this rejection club and I had guys do that and it really worked. I saw guys go from petrified of asking a single woman out to quite good at it, lots of them. So, yeah, I know that method does work. Um, yeah, but there's probably other ways too. But exposure, that's supposedly like the most effective psychological tool ever created. So, yeah. But what do you think, Rich? Any thoughts on that? So, um, yeah. Desperado X's. What does it mean when you have no issues attracting women but can't keep them around? Well, it could mean a lot of different things, obviously, but perhaps, I mean, you must be doing something to turn them off because they're interested in you sexually. That's the first step. Then after that, they like want an emotional connection. So, what is the problem like building that emotional connection or just kind of like intellectual connection or are you just turning them off by being like such bad etiquette in some area? Like, I'm not sure. Do you have any thoughts what it could be? So, yeah. Um, so Zuki77 says, I like this question. If I feel confident of a girl that I like, does that mean I love her? Uh, I wouldn't say that. Um, no. I don't think you love her yet. I'll just go out on a limb there. So, okay. Yeah. A woman, true blue, thank you. A woman is a human being, not an ancient alien. Very, very true. I like that. Yes, and some of you do need to remember that. Um, so this guy says, CJJ160 channels. Why does someone, why does someone not date you but still want to monopolize your time slash get mad when you spend it with other women? Um, okay. So they don't want to date you, but they still wanna monopolize your time. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's, like, pretty standard, yeah. So, probably they like you in some way, but not enough to date you, but maybe they're, like, torn because they're, like, kinda going back and forth, like, well, there's some things that are so good about him, but maybe he's not stepping up in this way that I want, or maybe he doesn't have these qualities that I feel like are non-negotiables for me or whatever. Or he doesn't pass this threshold for me. Um, but that doesn't negate the fact that there's still somewhat secretly attracted for certain things and qualities you have, and they're jealous and they don't like it when they can no longer get what they're getting from you. But, you know, don't like cater to that. Just do your thing because that's what's gonna maybe get them off the fence as like fence sitters. So, yeah. Do you believe in marriage? I believe in it, but personally, like, I don't like a lot of things about it. But if you want to get married, like, sure. Um, I don't really know too much about Osho, Jackie. I know is he kind of like one of the founders of Tantra? Um, I might be wrong about that. Um, okay. I'm trying to find this again. So, Timmy, why do girls friend zone the guy they have feelings for to date someone more attractive? I see it happens time to time. So, um, okay, yeah. Well, there's a couple reasons, I think. One, they get more respect in a way. I mean, I feel like it's pretty similar if like they have this super attractive boyfriend, like it increases their standing in the eyes of their friends because they're kind of now like the alpha bitch, because they're like, oh, look who I got this like, model and I got him to commit to me and stuff. And then like girls kind of were like, oh wow, she's so awesome. What did she do to get that guy or whatever? Like that's really powerful, especially in young women, I feel like. Um Also, maybe it's like some evolutionary thing, like they can't really control it, but they just feel like he probably has like the better sperm quality or something. Possibly. That's just total hypothesis, but kind of makes sense in a way. Like it might be happening. Yeah. So Cover Plasma said, I heard women put more emotion into sex because it makes it more enjoyable. The emotional bonding can be more fulfilling than the oh, if it even happens. Does emotion help her oh, stimulating her heart? Um, yes, it depends because I feel like female fantasies have emotions like woven in to them. So it's not necessarily just the kind of emotion like you're thinking about, like stimulating her heart, like this loving heart energy. There's so many different kinds of emotions in everything women could like in bed. Like it's all going to create like this powerful feeling that she's looking for. It's not going to be just about in, out. Wow, amazing, done. Like that's not going to be enough. Well, okay, it could be for a little while. Um, okay, I'm going to think about that. But it is true that, for me, I'll just talk about me. Is her emotion in sex? Yeah, there's a lot of different emotions, and there's all kinds of emotions. Like, for example, if I'm being dominated, the emotions are like pride, like extreme pride, kind of like, and feeling, and kind of like humiliation, and like, I don't know, embarrassment and shame and like excitement. So, I mean, those are all emotions, but it's not just like loving heart emotions. And then, you know, if I want like a loving, gentle kind of sex, maybe it's like sadness, and just like catharsis. So, yes, emotion helps her. Oh, because like the ultimate orgasm for me is emotionally, mentally, intellectually, just firing on all levels. And, if it's just firing on one level, it's good. But if it's firing on two levels, it's great. Three levels, incredible. Five levels, mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Um, yeah. But I also think like another thing is just yeah, I mean that's a really good question. Like there's a lot I could say on that. And maybe I'll make a video about that too because I mean that's a really like interesting kind of common misconception or at least belief it seems like. So I don't know if it's a misconception or not. Um okay, thanks. I'm finally reaching all the things you said about tears. So thank you guys all for saying those things. Um All right, guys, I probably should go. Like, this is just so awesome, but like, I'm just kind of wearing down. So my answers are probably getting like pretty lame and just like low energy because I've just been doing this for a while. So I'm just like, yeah. Um, so I feel bad, but I actually didn't have too much more. But anyway, guys, I just want to thank you so much for one, supporting me, two, coming to this live stream, just hanging out with me, three, not just getting like not just sticking around, I guess I should say. Don't want to be too negative on myself. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And thanks for all your amazing questions as well. So I'm just gonna stay here to like read some of the other questions to myself, but you can just peace out, I guess. And maybe I'll do another one of these. So thanks guys. And you can always email me, my nonlinearlife at gmail.com in case you have a question. And I can't guarantee I'll answer it, but I do like to read them and I do answer a lot. So thanks again, guys. Bye.